Hey y'all, it's been a while since I've tried this whole YouTube thing, but it's been a few years and I think it's worth a shot again. This video is an introduction and a statement of intent to start making videos again as a creative outlet for the purposes of a series that I've been toying around with in my head for quite a while. Welcome to My Favorite Things. A series that is pretty much explained by the title, but for the sake of getting back into the swing of video production, I'm going to give myself an easy win and do a quick intro anyways to get the ball rolling. I'm going to start with a question. What are your favorite things? This is usually a pretty easy to answer question. Things immediately start to pop to the top of your head. Movies, food, songs, video games, experiences that connect with you on a deep or even primal level. Things you will think about for the rest of your life and even come back to over and over again. A much harder question to answer is, why are they your favorite things? You may list off attributes such as the music, the stories, the characters, even the nebulous whole package. These lists are often surface level, and I find myself jumping to these lists too often when discussing about media. Negative criticism is easy. You can typically point out gut feelings and reactions pretty clearly. When it comes to media, every time you go to experience something, you place a bet with your most valuable resource, time, and bet that you are going to have a better time with that than the many other alternatives that you could be experiencing. When a piece of media ends up, well, sucking, you can pretty easily start to find negatives in a much more pinpoint manner than you can when equally praising something else. I don't want to say that this is a universal experience, but it's a trend that I think many others out there can attest to. I would like to say that it has something to do with loss aversion, the phenomenon in which there's a tendency to avoid losing things than to acquiring an equivalent gain. Or, as another way to put it, a loss is felt twice as hard as a gain feels good. And when you're making bets with your time, you better be making good bets. I think this might be a pretty large contributing factor in what makes tearing into something you wasted so much of your time on easier and also a bit fun. The internal schadenfreude you can experience from ripping a piece of media a new one comes off as a personal victory, a way to claw back some value out of time that could have been spent on a better thing. This experience is obviously a two-way street and adds to what makes praising something so much harder. If you enjoy every minute of something that you love, then why spend a bunch of time making a video essay about it, screaming into the infernal void that is YouTube in the hopes that someone will also appreciate it in the same way that you do? When, you could just be enjoying that piece of media. I think loss aversion is also what keeps us coming back to our favorite things. Why play a new game when you could just do another run of Hades? Why read a new book when you already have a favorite series? Why listen to new music when you've already memorized every word and melody in an album? Why search for anything when the baseline level of enjoyment is right there waiting for you? I mean, it wouldn't hurt to beat Dark Souls again, would it? The answer is probably just dopamine. We are forever in a cycle searching for a new high, addicted to new experiences that tickle our brain like the stupid monkeys that we are. Now, that being the case doesn't mean that searching for new experiences is any less meaningful. And your new favorite thing could be around the corner. That search is definitely worth it. It would also be a mistake to say that returning to your favorite things instead of searching for something new is a bad thing. Nostalgia can be just as enticing and rewarding as something new. Taking the time to look back at your favorites, especially when looking further back, can elucidate parts of your personality and aesthetic preferences that may have always felt innate to you, have actually had a definitive origin this whole time. Now, this video has been a bit rambly and all over the place, so I want to ask the question again. Why are your favorite things your favorite things? This is going to be the goal of this series. I'm going to take my favorite things, put them up to the microscope, see what makes them tick, and why they tickle my brain. I want to be able to articulate why what I think is great, and maybe I can convince you of it too along the way. The plan for this series is I want to put out 3 videos within the year of releasing this introduction, as a pseudo New Year's resolution. I'd like to do one of these videos on a video game, one on a movie, and one on an album. I don't necessarily have a structure plan for these videos yet, but I'm hoping that by putting this video together, I'll hopefully be able to hold myself to making new videos again. Much of the background footage you've seen in this video are things that I want to cover, so if you recognize any of these things, and if you're willing to indulge me, and you actually sat through this boring mess of a video, then I'll hope you'll join me in exploring my favorite things. Thanks for watching.